Hey guys, how you doing? Ray here again. If you'd like to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyosho. Today's going to be the second installment of talking about a computer radio. And today's section we're going to be talking about within the radio is the dual rate and the exponential. Get a lot of questions about dual rate and exponential, a lot of questions about it, a lot of confusion about it. Today I'm going to help you to clear it up and be an expert at it. So, you have your section in the radio, dual rate and expo. So let's get started. What do? They do two totally different things, guys. Now, when you have your stick here, left, right, up, down, whatever have you, for the dual rate, you have three sections. You have your rudder, your aileron, your elevator. Most people leave, as I always have, the rudder alone. You really don't have to mess with the rudder. What you want to do though, if you want to tone these down, most of these radios, okay guys, come with it set at 100%, which means when you move your stick for the aileron, one more thing guys, it's going to affect the way your swash plate tilts. So say your aileron is going to be right to left, okay? Now as you move the stick, it is the dual rate, it is allowing your servo, okay, to make the link arm travel 100%. Now like I said, most of these radios come set at 100%, which means that it's going to tilt all the way. Either direction, forward, backwards, left, right, side to side, whatever you're using the aileron elevator. Now it gives it more throw. The servo arm pushes it more, so you're going to get steeper angles. And when you're learning to fly, you're learning to hover, that's not necessarily the best thing, because by changing the dual rate, it limits the distance that the servo arm will travel, or the servo in itself will travel. So if you reduce the elevator and the aileron setting, okay, if you knock them down from 100 to like 80 is a good point to start. I wouldn't change it more than really 80. If you reduce it from 100, that means, so if the servo could move the swash on the aileron this far, now it's only going to be able to move it this far. So it makes the helicopter not as quick jerking around, alright, and it makes it easier for you to learn how to hover, because the stick, it's not moving it as at the sharp angles like that, and it's not moving it all the way. So it's limiting, you know, the amount of travel. That is really what the dual rate is all about. So here is the end of your servo travel. This is the servo link arm. Okay, at 100%, it's traveling all the way to the whole distance. All right, if you reduce it to 80%, now it's only coming to here. If you reduce it to 70, 60, you don't really want to reduce it much than 80%, guys, because you don't want to make it so it's like a coaxial helicopter. You don't want to make it so it doesn't have hardly any movement to it. Now there's other things in the radio we'll talk about later on that have play in that too, and you can also adjust. But right now we're focusing on the dual rate and the exponential. The next one is, that's right off to the, it's going to be off to the right of it, is the exponential. Exponentials usually come from the factory set at 0. Now, exponential can go both ways, alright? It can go from the 0 point to minus, just a number to throw at you, 20%, 30%, and it can go positive 20 or 30% and beyond those numbers. So, if you want your helicopter more responsive, you are going to go to the minus side. You're going to go from the 0 to like a minus 10, minus 20. What is that going to do? It's going to make this stick at center stick very, very sensitive and touchy. What you just touch it and that swash is gonna like that, the way it moves, okay? If you want it to be dummied down because you're learning, you want it to be mushy, you don't want those quick jerking movements that are gonna scare you. You don't want the swash going like this. You want to hit the stick and you want the swash to be delayed, taking its time, relaxing, you know, like that. Then you want to go to the positive side. When learning, I recommend changing from the 0 on the exponential up to, you can go even up into like a positive 35, positive 40. Okay, now the exponential does not change the range, the distance that the servo travels. That's what the dual rate does, guys. This only gives you a mushy, tired, dummied down, relaxed feel. Okay, so you move the stick this way, and the helicopter doesn't immediately go. It might go, you know, like that. Take its time, relax. That's what those do, guys. There's not really a whole lot other than that to talk about. The dual rate changes the distance the servo travels, which enables you to limit the angles on your swash plate. And the exponential makes the stick feel either more responsive or less responsive. Gives it a mushy feel or a quick response. Now, learning, you want it to be dummied down, you want it to be mushy. When you start doing acrobatics, now you probably want to start going the other way, to the negative side, and get that thing wicked responsive. Generally, I leave mine at about positive 15 or 20. But I change that depending how I fly. If I'm out for a Sunday sport flight, that's what I do. If you want to do acrobatics and you feel the helicopter's not moving the way you want it to, you can change that to negative and make it more responsive. That's it for this section of the radio, guys. Hope this gives you a great idea of how it works for the dual rate and exponential. If you'd like to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyosho. We'll talk to you soon.